Wouldn't it be amazing if someone handed us a map for life, a guide so clear and concise that we'd never have to stumble through the unknown? Imagine the time we'd save, the missteps we'd avoid, and the clarity we'd gain as we navigated the challenges of existence. Well, that's exactly what Dr. Jordan Peterson set out to create. He believes that life doesn't have to be a chaotic mess of trial and error. Instead, it can be guided by a set of principles, 12 simple, yet profound rules, that can transform the way we live. Now that he's put pen to paper, we don't have to search for answers aimlessly. He's done the work for us, and the results might just surprise you. These rules aren't your typical self-help mantras or motivational quotes you'd find splashed on posters. No, they dig deeper. They're grounded in ancient wisdom, biological truths, and timeless stories that resonate with the human spirit. They're a call to action, a challenge to face life with courage, discipline, and purpose. As we journey through these 12 rules together, I'll tell you what lobsters, flowers, and skateboarders have to do with living a meaningful, fulfilled life. Yes, you heard me right, lobsters. These fascinating creatures have something crucial to teach us about confidence and standing tall in the face of adversity. Flowers. They'll show us why beauty and order are essential to finding meaning in life. And skateboarders? Well, they might just hold the key to understanding human nature's rebellious and resilient spirit. So, let's dive in. Let's open this handbook to life and learn from the wisdom it holds. This isn't just about self-improvement, it's about becoming someone you can be proud of, someone who contributes to the world with strength and purpose. Ready? Let's begin. What lobsters teach us about confidence. Now, you're probably wondering, lobsters. What can those creatures scuttling along the ocean floor possibly have to do with us? But let me tell you, these ancient crustaceans hold a lesson so profound, it could change the way you see yourself. Lobsters have a hierarchy, much like humans. When two lobsters face off, they engage in a ritual of dominance, and the winner stands taller, more confident. The loser, on the other hand, shrinks back, becoming more submissive. Here's the kicker, the winner's brain chemistry changes. It becomes wired to seek success, to stand tall, to dominate again. The defeated lobster. Its brain literally rewires to accept defeat. Sounds a bit like life, doesn't it? When we face challenges and rise above them, we stand taller, figuratively and literally. But when we let failure define us, we shrink, not just in our posture, but in our spirit. Peterson's message here is simple but powerful, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Don't let life's challenges make you smaller. Face them head-on, with confidence and courage. You have the power to change your inner chemistry, just like that lobster. Confidence isn't just a feeling, it's a choice, a practice, a way of being. Stand tall, not just for yourself, but for the world that needs your strength. What flowers teach us about finding meaning. Picture a field of wildflowers, an explosion of color, beauty, and life. Have you ever wondered why flowers matter so much to us? They serve no practical purpose, yet they captivate us, inspire us, and remind us of something greater. Flowers are a testament to the beauty of order amidst chaos. In a world filled with unpredictability and hardship, they remind us that there is still harmony, still meaning. Peterson draws a parallel between the beauty of flowers and the search for meaning in life. Just as a flower blooms despite harsh winds and uncertain weather, we too must strive to find our place in the world. Meaning doesn't come from avoiding difficulty, it comes from confronting it, from creating order out of chaos. So, what's the lesson here? Seek out beauty. Create it. Protect it. Whether it's in your relationships, your work, or your personal growth, strive to make something beautiful out of the messiness of life. Beauty isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for the human soul. It reminds us of what's possible, even in the darkest times. What skateboarders teach us about human nature. Now let's talk about those fearless skateboarders, those kids who defy gravity, risk skinned knees, and push the limits of what's possible. To an outsider, they might look reckless, maybe even foolish. But Peterson sees something deeper. These skateboarders embody a fundamental truth about human nature. We are wired to take risks, to test boundaries, to push ourselves beyond the edge of comfort. Peterson argues that our modern world often tries to stifle this spirit. We prioritize safety, predictability, and control. But in doing so, we risk losing something essential, our drive to grow, to adapt, to overcome. Skateboarders remind us that life isn't about avoiding falls, it's about learning how to get back up, stronger and wiser than before. The lesson here: don't stifle your spirit. Embrace the risks, the challenges, the unknowns. Growth comes from stepping out of your comfort zone, from daring to fail. Life isn't about playing it safe, it's about playing it well. These are just glimpses of the wisdom in Peterson's 12 rules. Each one is a guidepost, a beacon of light for navigating life's uncertainties. They challenge us to rise above mediocrity, to confront our fears, and to live with intention and purpose. This isn't just about following rules, it's about creating a life that matters. A life that inspires. A life that you can look back on with pride. So, young dreamer, the question isn't whether these rules will work for you. The question is, will you dare to live by them? The choice is yours. Chapter 1, Get to the top of the pecking order. You've probably heard people talk about the pecking order, but have you ever stopped to think about where this term came from? It's not just a catchy phrase, it has its roots in nature, observed long before it became a metaphor for human life. Back in the 1920s, a Norwegian zoologist named Thorleif Skjelderup studied barnyard chickens and made an incredible discovery. He noticed that when it was feeding time, there was a strict hierarchy among the birds. The strongest and healthiest chickens got first dibs on the food, eating their fill before the weaker, more timid ones even got a chance. By the time the less dominant chickens made their way to the scraps, they were left with barely enough to survive. This isn't just some quirky behavior unique to chickens, it's a rule of life itself. Strength reinforces strength, while weakness begets more weakness. What's even more fascinating is how this concept isn't just limited to chickens. Many animals live by this same principle, and one of the most striking examples comes from a creature you'd probably never think of in this context, the lobster. The pecking order among lobsters. Lobsters are far more than just a fancy dinner delicacy. They're an ancient species with behaviors so deeply ingrained in their biology that they haven't changed much in millions of years. Whether in the wild or in captivity, lobsters instinctively establish their own hierarchy. How do they do it? Through aggressive, ritualistic battles. When two lobsters meet, they size each other up, puff up their chests, or the lobster equivalent, and engage in combat to claim the best shelter or territory. What's extraordinary is how the outcomes of these fights affect the lobsters on a biological level. Winning lobsters undergo changes in their brain chemistry. Their serotonin levels, yes, the same hormone that affects our mood as humans, increase, giving them a stronger, more confident posture. They stand tall, quite literally, signaling to other lobsters that they're not to be messed with. Their serotonin dominance keeps them sharp, energized, and ready for future challenges. On the flip side, losing lobsters experience the opposite. Their serotonin levels plummet, and another hormone called ectopamine takes over, leaving them timid and withdrawn. They physically curl up, their posture signaling defeat, as if their bodies are conceding, "I'm not worthy." Over time, these losers are less likely to challenge anyone again, reinforcing their lower position in the pecking order. Why this matters for us? Now, you might be thinking, okay, but I'm not a chicken or a lobster. What does this have to do with me? The answer is, everything. Humans aren't so different from animals when it comes to hierarchy. The same principles apply to us, even if our battles look a little less primal. Whether it's in the workplace, your social circles, or even your family dynamics, we all navigate hierarchies daily. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how confidence works? The people who carry themselves with strength, who believe they belong at the top, tend to get the best opportunities, the most respect, and the lion's share of attention. Meanwhile, those who shrink back, who doubt themselves, often get overlooked. It's not just perception, there's a biological component at play here, just like with the lobsters. When you face challenges and win, whether it's acing a presentation, standing up for yourself, or achieving a personal goal, your confidence grows. Your brain reinforces the idea that you're capable, that you belong at the top of your game. But when you shy away from challenges, when you let fear or self-doubt dictate your actions, you start to lose that edge. It's a vicious cycle. Confidence begets more confidence, while insecurity only deepens. Standing tall, the rule to live by. So what's the takeaway? Dr. Jordan Peterson's first rule for life is simple yet profound: stand up straight with your shoulders back. This isn't just about posture, though that's part of it. It's about signaling to the world, and to yourself, that you are capable, worthy, and ready to face life's battles. When you adopt a confident stance, you're not just faking it until you make it. You're rewiring your brain, just like those victorious lobsters. You're telling your mind and body, I'm here to win. And guess what? The world responds to that. People treat you differently when you carry yourself with strength. Opportunities seem to find you. Challenges feel less daunting. But here's the thing, confidence isn't just for you. When you stand tall, you inspire others to do the same. You become a leader, a beacon of strength in a world that often feels overwhelming. You remind those around you that it's okay to take up space, to assert themselves, to fight for what matters. The eternal pecking order. Life will always have its hierarchies, its pecking orders. That's not something we can change. But what we can change is where we stand in them. Will you shrink back and settle for scraps, or will you rise to the top? The choice is yours, and it begins with one small, powerful act: standing up straight with your shoulders back. The world is watching. Your mind is listening. What story will your posture tell? And doesn't that sound familiar? Humans, much like lobsters, reflect this natural phenomenon in their daily lives. Those who consistently find success, whether in their careers, relationships, or personal goals, often build on that success with an unshakable confidence. Each win becomes a stepping stone to the next, fueling their belief in themselves and their abilities. This mindset drives them to tackle bigger challenges, seize opportunities, and take risks that others might shy away from. But here's the flip side. When someone is weighed down by repeated failures or trapped in the depths of depression, their outlook on life tends to follow suit. They approach every situation with hesitation, bracing themselves for defeat before it even happens. It's as if their internal dialogue whispers, "Why bother? You know how this ends." Tragically, this mindset often manifests as a self-fulfilling prophecy, reinforcing their feelings of hopelessness and perpetuating the cycle of negativity. Breaking the cycle, think like a lobster. So, what can you do if you find yourself stuck in this spiral of self-doubt? How do you turn the tide and start climbing your own personal ladder of success? The answer lies in the surprising wisdom of the lobster. That's right. Think like a lobster. First, recognize that your posture, attitude, and actions send a message, not just to others, but to yourself. Adopting a strong, confident pose, even if you don't feel it yet, can trick your brain into believing that you're ready to take on the world. It's not just faking it till you make it. It's a deliberate strategy to rewire your mindset and shift your perspective. Start small. Stand tall, shoulders back, and look people in the eye. Speak with conviction, even if your voice wavers a little at first. Take one risk, just one, that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Whether it's speaking up in a meeting, trying a new skill, or simply walking into a room with your head held high, these actions can spark a chain reaction. Why it works. When you act like a winner, your brain starts to believe it. The science backs this up. Just as a lobster's serotonin levels rise when it wins, our own biology responds positively to confident behavior. Your mind starts to tell a new story, one where you're capable, deserving, and ready to succeed. And as you begin to internalize this belief, the world around you starts to shift. People notice confidence. They're drawn to it. They start to treat you differently, offering opportunities or extending support where they might not have before. This doesn't mean you'll never face setbacks. Life is full of them, but with a confident mindset, you'll see those setbacks as challenges to overcome rather than signs of defeat. The first step toward change. Breaking free from a toxic cycle or climbing the ladder of life isn't about waiting for the world to change, it's about changing yourself first. Stand up, face the world, and refuse to let past failures define your future. Remember, every successful person started somewhere. They faced doubts, fears, and obstacles, just like you. But they didn't let those things keep them down. So, strike that confident pose. Walk into the world like you own your space. Remind yourself, I am strong, I am capable, and I am ready. And when doubt creeps in, channel your inner lobster. Push forward, stand tall, and let the world see you as the winner you're becoming. Because here's the truth, success begins in your mind, and the first battle is won when you decide to believe in yourself. The journey may be long, but every step forward is a step toward the life you deserve. Start today. Stand up straight, shoulders back, and take on the world, one confident step at a time. Chapter 2, Love Yourself as You Would Others. At first glance, this concept might feel a bit backwards. Isn't the golden rule to love others as you love yourself? Sure, that's how it's usually phrased, but think about it, we often shower others, our partners, children, or even pets, with care and affection while neglecting ourselves entirely. Why? Because we're acutely aware of our flaws. We see every mistake, every imperfection, and sometimes, we allow these observations to feed self-loathing. When we think we're not good enough, we convince ourselves that we're unworthy of love, kindness, or self-care. Instead, we pour our love outward, caring for others in ways we'd never extend to ourselves. But here's the truth, if you don't take care of yourself, you'll burn out, and when that happens, you'll have little left to give. Embracing balance, a lesson from the East. Eastern philosophy offers a beautiful analogy through the yin-yang symbol. This iconic image represents duality, the light and the dark, the positive and the negative, each containing a piece of the other. The message is clear, neither side can exist without the other, and true harmony comes from embracing both. Now think of your own life. Imagine trying to be endlessly perfect, shielding yourself from every mistake, every disappointment. It sounds tempting, right? But it's as destructive as living entirely in chaos. Take, for instance, a parent who wants to protect their child from every harm. If they never let the child experience failure, disappointment, or independence, the child may grow up stifled, resentful, and unprepared for the real world. The same goes for you. Lean too far into negativity, and you'll lose hope. Chase perfection, and you'll exhaust yourself in a futile pursuit. Life isn't meant to be lived at the extremes, it's a dance between joy and struggle, success and failure. Embrace the chaos, but don't let it define you. Strive for better, but don't demand perfection. Love yourself like a parent loves their child. Think about how a loving parent cares for their child. They don't just give the child everything they want, they give them what they need. A child might whine about eating vegetables or going to bed on time, but the parent insists because it's what's best for them. That's the same kind of love you need to give yourself. Loving yourself doesn't mean indulging in endless comfort or ignoring your responsibilities. It means showing up for yourself, even when it's hard. It means choosing what's healthy over what's easy. It means understanding that skipping that fast food binge or putting in extra effort at work is an act of love for your future self. So, ask yourself, if you were your own parent, what advice would you give? What boundaries would you set? What encouragement would you offer on tough days? That's the kind of love you deserve. Find your purpose and build your path. Personal growth comes from striking a balance between self-compassion and discipline. You can't grow by only chasing happiness or avoiding discomfort. Growth happens when you pursue a purpose. Start by asking yourself, what do I want my life to stand for? What's my direction? Then, craft your daily choices around that vision. Like a loving parent guiding their child, remind yourself that setbacks are lessons, not failures. You might not want to eat those metaphorical vegetables, like studying, exercising, or budgeting, but they're what fuel your future. Be your own anchor. Loving yourself isn't just about feeling good, it's about building a strong foundation for your life. When you take care of yourself, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're showing the world, and yourself, that you matter. So, start today. Speak kindly to yourself. Set goals, and forgive yourself when you fall short. Embrace life's messiness while striving for balance. Love yourself not as a flawless being, but as someone who is learning, growing, and becoming. Because the truth is this, you can't truly love others until you learn to love yourself. When you're your own biggest supporter, the world opens up in ways you never thought possible. Be patient. Be kind. And most importantly, be you. Here's why: self-criticism, when balanced, is a tool for growth. It helps you identify areas for improvement and motivates change. But when comparison creeps in, it turns self-criticism toxic. Instead of focusing on your growth, you judge yourself by someone else's standards. This narrow view blinds you to the small, meaningful victories along your journey and replaces them with a false binary of success or failure. Think about it: if your coworker got a promotion, does that make your accomplishments worthless? Not at all. Maybe they focused on advancing their career, while you prioritized strengthening relationships with loved ones. Both paths have value, but comparison obscures this truth and tricks you into thinking you're behind. The key to true progress is simple: compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. Are you learning, improving, and striving to do better? If the answer is yes, you're on the right track. Growth isn't about being better than others, it's about being better than the person you were before. Celebrate your unique journey. Imagine viewing your life like a home inspector would assess a house. Start at the foundation, examine your habits, mindset, and values. Then move upward, identifying areas that need fixing. Is it a small repair, like a bad habit, or something deeper, like a limiting belief? Make a list, set priorities, and tackle them step by step. When you're focused on renovating your own house, you won't have time, or the need, to compare yourself to others. Instead, you'll celebrate the incremental growth that makes you stronger and more fulfilled. So, the next time you feel the pull of comparison, remind yourself, your journey is yours alone. Success isn't about speed or flashiness, it's about steady progress in the direction that's right for you. Look at how far you've come, acknowledge the work still ahead, and commit to becoming your best self, one step at a time. Focus on your growth. The only person you need to beat is who you were yesterday. Chapter 5. Raise a kind and responsible child. Raising children is one of the toughest challenges parents face. Each child enters the world as a blank slate, and parents bear the immense responsibility of shaping their values, habits, and worldview. It's a daunting task, especially when considering how our children will influence future generations. According to Neubauer, the first step is to acknowledge a fundamental truth: human aggression is innate. Think about how cruel kids can sometimes be to one another. Bullying and conflicts are common memories for many. So, what if the cornerstone of parenting became raising children to be kind and compassionate individuals? To achieve this, Neubauer advises that parenting shouldn't be about trying to win your child's approval every moment. Sometimes, being a good parent means your child might not like you, and that's okay. Why boundaries are crucial. If you focus on being your child's best friend, you risk prioritizing their happiness over teaching them important life lessons. Without boundaries, children might grow into adults who struggle with responsibility and respect. Setting rules might be uncomfortable at times, but it's a far kinder way to prepare them for the real world than letting them learn harsh lessons from society later on. So, how can parents strike the right balance between kindness and discipline? Neubauer outlines 3 essential strategies. 1. Focus on fewer, meaningful rules. Rules are necessary for shaping your child's core values, but too many can overwhelm them. Instead of micromanaging their lives with excessive rules like, your socks must always match, or, bedtime is always at 8 p.m., focus on essential principles. Show respect. Be kind to others. Avoid violence unless it's for self-defense. These values lay the foundation for raising a child who is loving, respectful, and responsible. After all, wouldn't you rather have a child with a kind heart than one who follows trivial rules but struggles with empathy? 2. Use the least force necessary. Discipline should always be about teaching, not punishing. Set clear rules and make sure the consequences are equally clear. The punishment should fit the behavior and help your child understand the impact of their actions. To do this effectively, you need to deeply understand your child. Some situations might only require a gentle verbal correction, while others might warrant a more impactful response, like limiting screen time for a week. Tailoring your approach to your child's personality and needs is key. 3. Present a united front. If you're raising a child with a partner, consistency is crucial. Children are clever and often try to pit parents against each other to get their way. Avoid this by presenting a united front and supporting each other's decisions. Even when mistakes happen, and they will, handle them with love and teamwork. Acknowledging and working on your parenting missteps together teaches your child the importance of growth and maintaining a happy, respectful home. The goal: kindness and responsibility. Raising a kind, responsible child isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. By focusing on core values, applying thoughtful discipline, and fostering a united home, you can help your child grow into a compassionate and capable individual. And while they might not always like you in the moment, they'll thank you for it in the long run. Remember, raising a kind child is one of the greatest gifts you can give to the world. Chapter 6. Life isn't fair. Why do bad things happen to good people? This age-old question haunts us, and while we may never fully understand the answer, how we respond to life's injustices matters more than the question itself. Many are tempted to blame others or sink into despair, but neither response leads to a healthy, fulfilling life. Leo Tolstoy, the renowned Russian author, believed that life's inherent unfairness leaves us with only 4 possible reactions. Ignorance: pretend the unfairness doesn't exist. Hedonism: chase pleasure to distract from life's suffering. Despair, end it all, overwhelmed by hopelessness. Endurance, struggle on despite the challenges. However, enduring with purpose is what Jordan Peterson emphasizes in his 6th rule: take responsibility for your life instead of condemning the world. Finding meaning in the face of injustice. Peterson draws inspiration from Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who endured unimaginable hardship in a Russian gulag. After fighting the Nazis in World War II, Solzhenitsyn was betrayed by his own government, imprisoned, and even diagnosed with cancer during his sentence. Despite this, he refused to give in to bitterness or despair. Instead, Solzhenitsyn used his suffering as a catalyst for growth. He wrote The Gulag Archipelago, a groundbreaking exposé that revealed the horrors of Soviet labor camps and eroded public support for Stalinism. His work is a testament to the power of personal responsibility and the ability to rise above life's cruelties. Peterson urges us to follow this example by confronting our own challenges with courage and determination, focusing on the good we can contribute to the world rather than dwelling on its injustices. Chapter 7: Seek sacrifice over instant gratification. Have you heard the story of the monkey and the cookie jar? The monkey gets its hand stuck because it refuses to let go of the cookie, leading to its capture. The moral is clear: greed and the inability to sacrifice can trap us. This lesson applies to humans, too. Many of us chase instant gratification, even when it harms us in the long run. Whether it's indulging unhealthy habits or seeking fleeting pleasures, these choices often stem from despair. Peterson's 7th rule encourages us to choose sacrifice over immediate pleasure. Sacrifice isn't just about enduring hardship for personal gain, like working hard to earn a paycheck. True sacrifice involves giving up something for the good of others. For example, volunteering your time, helping someone in need, putting others' happiness ahead of your own. The lotus flower, a symbol of growth. Imagine the lotus flower. It begins its journey buried in muddy waters but slowly grows upward, inch by inch, until it blooms in the sunlight. This process symbolizes what selflessness can do for your life. By prioritizing others over fleeting pleasures, you can rise above negativity and find true fulfillment. Choosing sacrifice reshapes your worldview, helps you grow as a person, and fills your life with purpose. Chapter 8: Stop lying, even to yourself. We all lie to ourselves. Whether it's pretending we'll meet a goal without putting in the effort or denying our flaws, self-deception is a common human trait. Austrian psychologist Alfred Adler called these life lies, which are the falsehoods we tell ourselves to justify our actions or desires. Peterson's 8th rule challenges us to stop lying and face the truth. Life lies are dangerous because they keep us from growing. For instance, thinking you already know everything discourages learning. Setting unrealistic goals leads to failure and frustration. The power of honesty. To live an authentic life, you must confront your life lies and align your actions with your truth. Take time to assess your goals and recognize areas where self-deception holds you back. Being honest with yourself may be uncomfortable, but it's a necessary step to self-improvement. By embracing self-awareness and committing to change, you can get back on track and create a life that reflects your true potential. Remember, honesty, sacrifice, and responsibility are the keys to overcoming life's hardships and becoming the best version of yourself. Chapter 9: Engage in healthy debate. Social media often turns discussions into battlegrounds filled with hostility and quick judgments. Instead of thoughtful dialogue, we see people lashing out and attacking others, which has distorted what healthy debate truly means. Peterson's 9th rule reminds us to revive the art of meaningful conversations by focusing on respect and learning. Listen to learn, not to win. The ancient Greek philosophers understood the value of respectfully challenging ideas. They saw debates as a way to uncover truth, not as personal attacks. Peterson encourages us to adopt a similar approach. Listen actively, treat conversations as opportunities to learn, not battles to win. Assume value, begin every discussion with the belief that the other person might have something valuable to teach you. Summarize and rephrase. After listening, summarize what you've heard in your own words. This not only confirms your understanding but also shows respect for the speaker's perspective. This approach fosters mutual respect and encourages meaningful exchanges of ideas, even when disagreements arise. Chapter 10. Confront complexity with clarity. Life is often overwhelming, and our relationships and challenges can feel like unsolvable puzzles. One reason for this chaos is that we tend to focus only on the details we understand or find interesting, ignoring the broader picture. Peterson's 10th rule offers a solution: use precise language. The power of precision. Using precise language allows us to break down complex issues into manageable pieces. Here's how it helps. Simplifies problems. Whether fixing a car or describing an illness, being specific helps us diagnose the issue accurately. Improves relationships. If you're hurt or frustrated in a relationship, clearly articulating your emotions and concerns can lead to resolution. For example, instead of saying, "You're always ignoring me," try, "I feel unheard when I share my thoughts, and it hurts me." Precise language creates clarity, reduces confusion, and helps restore order in chaotic situations. By learning to articulate issues thoughtfully, we not only tackle life's complexities but also build stronger, healthier connections with others. Key takeaway: both in debates and everyday life, clarity in communication, whether through active listening or precise articulation, empowers us to navigate challenges with understanding and confidence. Chapter 11. Avoid suppressing human nature. In our quest to correct societal injustices, the line between addressing harmful behaviors and stigmatizing entire groups can blur. A common example is the pushback against toxic masculinity, which sometimes unjustly labels all men as problematic. While it's true that historically, men have misused power, condemning masculinity as a whole isn't the solution. Instead, Peterson advocates for embracing our differences and channeling human nature, be it strength, dominance, or persistence, toward positive outcomes. Harnessing natural traits for good. Peterson illustrates this with the example of skateboarders at the University of Toronto. These young individuals showcased bravery, agility, and skill, yet their activity was banned for being perceived as disruptive. Instead of criminalizing such expressions, society should recognize and nurture these traits as potential sources of innovation and resilience. The lesson here is clear: rather than vilifying certain behaviors or groups, focus on understanding and guiding them toward constructive ends. This approach fosters harmony and ensures that society benefits from everyone's unique qualities. Chapter 12. Celebrate the little things. Life is undeniably filled with sorrow, but it's also brimming with moments of joy, if we're willing to look for them. Peterson shares a deeply personal story about his daughter's battle with severe arthritis to highlight the importance of finding positivity even in dire circumstances. Finding joy in small mercies. Despite her pain, surgeries, and countless challenges, the discovery of a physiotherapist who improved her quality of life became a source of immense gratitude for Peterson. This experience shaped his 12th rule: cherish the small joys in life. These moments of light, whether it's petting a fluffy cat or enjoying a peaceful walk, can sustain us through life's darkest times. By focusing on these tiny blessings, we cultivate a mindset that prioritizes resilience and positivity.